read this headline from Complex Magazine. Jill Scott says she's made more money than people have ever made or ever will. I had to pause. And not because we know loss isn't real, but because that sentence alone tells you how disconnected wealth can make people from everyday reality. Jill Scott recently sat down with $1 Million Worth of Game podcast, where she opened up about her financial losses over the years. And when asked if her divorces played a part, she just made it clear that it wasn't. It was some other stuff that happened. She did say that her first husband did get some money, but they're on good terms now, and that the second marriage, it was just a completely different story situation. They also talked about her Why Did I Get Married sequel, and they did some reflection and accountability during the conversation. I think where the disconnect happens, and it's not just with Jill Scott, it's with a lot of wealthy people. Saying you've lost more money than people will ever make is not just a dramatic headline. It unintentionally minimizes the living reality for everyday people. Put it like this: when you reach a certain level of wealth, money stops being about survival and it starts being about the numbers. Losing money to a wealthy person doesn't mean, oh, my rent doesn't get paid, I can't get the groceries that I need. It really just means that your numbers and your bank account, they just went down. Okay? That's why comments like this may hit a nerve, because for the average person, when you lose money, that means you're losing housing, you may lose some peace, you may lose your stability. This isn't even about tearing Jill Scott down. I think she's incredibly talented, she's earned her success, and she's actually one of my favorite artists. And she's most definitely allowed to speak her truth. But two things can exist at once. You can experience real financial loss and still be out of touch with how that statement lands for people who've never had any financial cushion to fall back on. This same mindset shows up when people look down on 9-to-5 workers. Like, oh, stability is such a failure. Like, everyone has privilege to just take risks. The truth is, most people don't need the motivation, they need the security. And when wealthy people talk recklessly about money, it reinforces the idea that struggle is just a personal flaw instead of it being a systemic reality. Listen, I'm sure losing millions hurts, but so does never having a chance to make them in the first place. I think maybe the real conversation isn't about how much was lost, but how much that money changes perspective. And also how easily people lose empathy along the way during their success.